Dear students, welcome to PISQ Virtual Learning Program. I'm your chemistry teacher with the first lesson of Week 8. Before starting our new lesson, let's recall what we studied last time. In our last class, we studied the reaction between acid and metal carbonates. We also studied a chemical test to detect carbon dioxide. And I hope you understand the topic. Dear students, in our today's lesson, we will talk about the reaction between acid and metal oxide. Before we studied the reactions of acid with metal carbonate and pure metal. In both cases, neutralization reaction takes place. Dear students, do you know what are metal oxides? Metal oxides are soluble bases. When an acid reacts with metal oxide, a salt is formed. Word equation shows that a neutralization reaction takes place. Dear students, let's take the example of a reaction between sulfuric acid and copper oxide. When copper oxide is added to the solution of sulfuric acid, copper sulfate is formed along with water. This reaction takes place in 4 steps. The first step is the addition of copper oxide to sulfuric acid solution in a beaker. The second step is to heat the reaction mixture slightly so that copper oxide dissolves completely. In the third step, unreacted copper oxide is removed by filtering. And the last step is the evaporation of filtrate to get pure blue crystals of copper sulfate. I hope you understand the steps. To make it more clear, I'm going to show you a video. Listen to the video carefully and try to understand each and every step.
We're going to look at the reaction between solid copper oxide and dilute sulfuric acid. But these stages would equally apply to making a salt using a metal carbonate such as copper carbonate. I'm showing you copper oxide here. As you can see, it's a black powder. So here's the equipment that we're going to use for the first stage, which is making the soluble salt. First, we start with a fixed amount of dilute sulfuric acid. This is our limiting reactant. In other words, the acid will run out. Now, this is really important. We do not want any acid remaining at the end, as that would contaminate our salt. So we need to make certain that all of the acid is reacted away. Now we gently heat the acid until it's almost boiling. However, we do not want it to boil, as it could bubble over when we add our other reactant, and that would be dangerous. Now, using a spatula, we add small amounts of copper oxide to the acid. We then stir the solution using a glass rod. The copper oxide will react and seem to disappear. The solution will turn a blue colour, which is the colour of copper sulfate. Continue adding copper oxide if the solution continues to be clear blue. Stop adding copper oxide if some powder remains after stirring. Now at this point the reaction has stopped, as all of the acid has reacted. We've made copper sulfate and the solution is now neutral. In the next step, we're going to make crystals of our copper sulfate, but first we need to remove the unreacted copper oxide. Because this is insoluble, we can filter it away. To do this, we use a filter funnel and filter paper, which I'm showing you here. Now in the final stage, we need to make crystals of our salt, and to do this we use evaporation. So we're going to look at that now. We take our copper sulfate solution and place this in an evaporating basin like this. We then heat this gently over a beaker of boiling water. We need to heat this until around half the solution remains. At this point, we leave the solution for 24 hours in a cool place for copper sulfate crystals to form. Finally, we scrape the copper sulfate crystals onto a paper towel and we gently pat them dry. Now we have pure, dry.
Dear students, I hope you understand the lesson. We studied some new words today. You are required to find their meanings. Words are copper oxide, copper sulfate, soluble base, insoluble bases. Dear students, follow the given link to learn more about the topic. Dear students, let's summarize the topic. We discussed the reaction between copper oxide and sulfuric acid that take place in 3 different steps. The first step is the addition of metal oxide into a solution of sulfuric acid. The second step is the filtration of unreacted metal oxide. The third step is evaporation. Dear students, that's all for today. I hope you understand the lesson. Thank you for paying attention. Take care. Stay home, stay safe.